started.
To my untrained eye,
Yep.
it looked like maybe a little less RPO, more designed run pass calls Saturday, and that everybody kind of responded to that.
Yeah, structurally with with Louisville, watching them, they were it's kind of the tale of two different parts of the season. The last 3 games, they had been heavy pressure, playing a lot of different multiple coverages, rolling coverages, trap corners, just things that kind of talk you out of that stuff, just because they have better angles. So a lot of it was more, like you said, some design runs. There was some RPOs in it, but it was more designed run and design pass, and then some play action stuff.
When DJ makes a right read like he did on that second drive, and keeps it, and he goes for 8 or 11 or whatever it was, how much pressure does that take off of that offense, and how much does it make the defense now go, uh-oh, here we go?
Oh, it neutralizes things. It balances them out. It allows you to be multidimensional, and they have to figure out a plan of what they want to stop. So it's good, and it was good to see DJ too, from a confidence standpoint, pull the ball, had some good runs, made a safety miss in the hole. Those things are huge. But really, what it does, it just keeps us ahead of the chain. So if we have a play call where maybe they're set up to play it, you have that one element with your quarterback being able to make you right, and they may not be accounting for him on that particular defensive call. So it helps and really a lot of it is just everybody being on the same page, because our offense is built in the run game. Going back to the origin of tempo, where you played fast, and that's kind of where all the answers and the RPO and all that stuff came from. When you're playing fast, you don't know what you're going to get defensively, so you got to have some answers, and that's the core of our offense. And it's good when you can have everybody on the same page, knowing what the answers are, and then just give yourself an opportunity to stay, ahead of the chains, based off of what the defense calls. And then there were a couple plays on some of the design runs in the game where they just had a better call. They were bringing boundary pressure. They were rushing 2 guys off the edge, where we're used to having one backside trying to control on a boot out. They're not going to play the boot out with that guy. He's going to chase because they got somebody else outside. So that's why you want to have those different components of your offense to give you just at least an opportunity to have a positive play.
So do you think a lack of confidence on DJ's part has kept him from keeping at times? Maybe that was the read.
I think he's a different runner. And I think some of the guys we've had in the past, they were just better suited for some of the zone read stuff. DJ is a guy that, once he gets going north and south, he's going, but he's not quite as laterally quick as the other guys. And so for him to have the ability to pull, especially that second series where he pulled one off the edge. The other ones were more interior reads, which is a little bit easier because you get going downhill a lot faster. So I think just in general, his confidence is heading in the right direction. I think he's putting in the work. Now he's seeing success on the field. He's continuing to get better. A couple things we need to clean up from the game. But I just think overall his confidence just in general, and that'll allow him to be able to do a lot more things, not just the run pass stuff.
Tony, I know it's early in the week, but what have you seen out of UConn, and will there be any challenges given UConn struggles this year to keep the guys focused on the field and on their record?
What's impressive is they're in a similar situation as us, with a lot of adversity. Their coach, second week of the season, I believe, and the kids are still playing hard. Structurally, they're very sound in what they do. They're not very multiple. Now the challenge, I think, is I don't think they've played in 3 weeks, right? So they've had some time just to prepare for Clemson. So they could come out and have something that we hadn't seen on tape. And they've done some odd stuff earlier in the season, not as much. But they play hard. They got Division I players. I know one of the D linemen is a young man from Charleston. that we had in camp. So they're very capable, and then they know what they're doing. They got some depth on the D line. So the biggest thing for us is to make sure that we play to our standard, versus these guys. And I think the guys are in a really, really good place. I think the culture and everything is helped these guys to get to a point to where they understand what it takes. And I'm proud of the guys because, you think about it. Kobe goes down, Shipley's out for a while, and Ngata's banged up. You got to line up front. You got Marcus, a freshman, then you got Trotter coming back that hasn't played all season, played well in a couple games. Now he's at guard, and you're playing a 3-man front with all that kind of stuff. And I'm getting to the point I'm getting to is I'm proud of the fact that the guys found a way to win and believe they were going to win, as opposed to playing not to lose. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. And I'm thinking, after Georgia Tech, when all the questions are like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with the offense? It has to have morphed to an appreciation for how tough these guys have hung in there and played and come out on top in difficult situations.
No doubt. Just everything happens for a reason. Truly believe that, and I believe that this is a program that is intended to to help people and help help bring change in certain situations. And obviously, when we were having the tremendous amount of success, there was change that was taking place there. But I also believe that through adversity, change is going to be made. And I think everyone's seeing just the heart, of this program. The toughness, the core values that the program is built to last, that we can withstand the adversity. But you always got to have some opportunities within to grow and develop some guys. So yeah, it's been awesome to watch them be resilient and manage to continue to fight, continue to believe, especially in a day and age where most people tell you it's not worth it. But I think we all know that at the end of the day, it is worth it, and it's the best thing for you to do is to just keep battling through the adversity.
Yeah, I was going to ask too, but you've probably been around programs where, after the Pitt loss, they're like, we'll worry about next year. We won't really keep on fighting. So that's got to be a mark of a testament to what they.
Correct.
Who they are.
Correct, and just the foundational principles of the program. And I know Coach Sweeney's been talking about it, reminding us as a staff and as a team, and I'm sure he's been reminding everybody outside our program that we stand on just effort, toughness, being physical, right? Belief in self, belief in team, and a no-quit attitude. So for us internally, right, that's not the perspective. It's not, no, every game is the most important game, the biggest game of the season, because it's the one that we're playing.
So, with that all said,
Yep.
if UConn was to win Saturday, it would probably be the greatest upset in the last 20 years. So, what are your goals for this weekend? Is it obviously win the game, but play clean, play better, play to the standard?
Oh, continue to improve. Continue to improve, and play to the standard that is set. And it doesn't matter who we're playing against. We're on a quest to be the best version of ourselves. Whatever the best version of this offensive unit and this team is, that's what we're on a quest for. And so the expectation is play to the standard that you see over there. Best is the standard. So what I want to see is guys go out and if they have an opportunity, right, physically dominate. We're playing. I mean, they got some good players on their defense, right? So that are going to challenge us. So go out there and can we physically dominate? And because that's the expectation each week we go out is can we physically dominate our opponents. So that's what I want to see. I want to see some young guys get in there, have an opportunity to get in there and keep building the depth. Keep the timing up, the cohesion, the chemistry. Just keep building upon those things that we've been working towards throughout the course of the season, and no letdown. And obviously, everyone on the outside is going to be looking ahead to the next week. But heck, you can't get to the next week until you finish this week. So our focus is putting together our best plan so we can go out and beat UConn.
Last night, Donald said that Beaux Collins will be starting. Davis talked about how even though Beau's talented, he's been impressed by just his character in the locker room. I guess from your perspective, what have you seen from Beau that makes him capable to take that kind of role as a freshman?
Beau, I don't know how much time you guys have spent around him, but just a presence, man. He's got a presence and he's got a smile, to him that just kind of, it affects everybody. He's confident but not cocky. He's got an unbelievable work ethic. He's very, very detailed and passionate about his craft. He's a craftsman. So all of those things combined, just the way he carries himself, he doesn't carry himself, like a freshman. You think you're dealing with a 21, 22-year-old professional. So I think the guys are able to recognize that really quickly. And now, he proved to them that hey, I'm willing to work through the adversity, because early in the season, you know, there were some balls that he didn't catch, and then you watch him the other night, and man, he's playing fast, he's playing with technique, he's catching the ball. So I just think all those things coming together, you know, have given him the credibility in the locker room, and now he can just be himself and inspire the guys to do better, just everybody be better. I think a lot of times we put, you know, a prerequisite on leadership, like you have to have this, you have to have that, you have to be this old. No, I mean, leadership knows no age. You know, leadership knows, you know, no circumstance. You know, it's all about internally, you know, who you are and how you can inspire and affect other people.
I was talking to him. He loves the slot. And I said, when we think of slot, we think of Hunter Renfrow, Mario Rogers. This dude's legit 6'5". What makes him so good there?
Just one is understanding of the game, and now where he's at with his understanding of our offense. He's a craftsman. He understands, you know, how to create separation. You know, he does have good, you know, lateral quickness for a guy that big. So it's just a combination of things. And you know, a lot of people focus on Hunter Renfrow, but Hunter Renfrow had it up here, and it was all understanding. You know, it was angles, it was timing, it was how to set defenders. So Beaux has a lot of that. So he came in, you know, well equipped with, you know, the nuances of the position that give him the ability to be very versatile and play in the slot or in the boundary wherever we need him.
Chemistry he has with DJ that goes back a few years, that relationship, is that a real thing when you get to the field?
You know, I think so. I think that, and that's something that I talked about, you know, possibly, I don't know if it was last week or 2 weeks ago. It's just about the timing with the quarterbacks, man. You got to have a chemistry with all your guys, especially like you hear the pro guys talk about it a lot. But even at this level, you got to have chemistry. You know, the receivers got to know what the quarterback's thinking. The quarterback, you know, has to express, you know, to the receiver, this is what I'm thinking. This is where I need you to be on this particular play. And those guys have had years of that, you know, previous. So obviously they're going to be ahead in their personal chemistry, but I think a quarterback has to have chemistry with all of the guys, skill guys on offense, especially in the passing game.
When I see Beaux run a route, the word that I think of is smooth.
Smooth.
He's been that way since he showed up at
Yep.
camp. Do you agree with that?
Oh yeah, very smooth. You know, very smooth. You don't realize how fast he is. You know what I'm saying? Because he is so smooth. He understands break points. You know, he understands route running, how to set guys up, influence, speed fluctuation. You know, hand movements, all those kind of things. He's very, very polished for a guy to just be a freshman.
Do you think he'd get past him on home run post?
Did I think he would get past him? Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Like I said, he's got deceptive speed because of his stride and how smooth he is. But he's rolling. You know, and Dakari too. Dakari's a guy that I'm excited. Going back to one of your previous questions, you know, hopefully he'll have an opportunity to get in there and get some more, you know, game time reps. We saw, you know, the play that he made. Wish it would have been, you know, called the other way, so he got it, so he would get a touchdown. But you know, he's a guy, that big guy that can run. You know, he's polished as well. You know, not quite where Beaux is. I think from a big picture understanding, but he'll get there.
Ask a lot of your offensive linemen every week, but there's no coming out with those guys, right? Weren't they all in there for just about every
Yeah, they play just about every play.
playing through some pain. What do you think about those guys?
Man, just heart of a champion. You know, we talk about, you know, the eye of the tiger, heart of a champion. Coach says it all the time. You know it when you see it, you know it when you don't. And so what you're seeing out of those guys is a heart of a champion. That they're gonna do whatever it takes because they love each other, they love the team, they love the program, and they're willing to put it on the line. And I think that, you know, Bockhorst, you know, had established that, you know, over his career and what he's played through. And then you got Putnam, man, who was battling. Obviously, he was out last game, but you know, the game before that, man, he's battling on a swollen ankle. So I think it's just a mindset that whatever it takes for 60 minutes, play Clemson football, no excuses, no explanations, just do your job. And when you have that, especially in the trenches, it resonates to everybody, you know. And Joe's out there playing, you know. On a foot, you know, he's out there. Shipley goes in the locker room, he comes back, and you know, he's playing on a foot. DJ puts a thing on, a knee brace on, and says, "Let's go." And then when we needed it, you know, big call right there. You know, quarterback run, and you know, no flinch. So I think that's just the essence of what the program's all about. That you can see, and a lot of times that gets missed. You know, just because the focus is on sometimes stats and points and all those pretty things. But for us as coaches, that's when you know what kind of football team you have when you see things like that.
Quarterback hobble on that play.
Quarterback hobble, hey, whatever it took. And actually, we had a better call right there. Like, because if you noticed, they were playing more of like a two invert type of deal, and the nickel Sam, he's got pass responsibilities first, so he turned and ran, even though we had an extra blocker. But what that did is that allowed us to solidify, the wall on the inside so that DJ could go score. So sometimes you got to get lucky.
Just talking about the patience he showed on that play. Maybe he was just.
He did whatever it took, and that's what that's what his character is. And I believe, just like everybody in our program believes, that in due time, he'll reap the rewards in the harvest of all of the humility and hard work that he's putting in.
You envision a larger role for Taisun this week, given DJ's injury?
I'm excited for Taisun this week, man. I thought he did a good job when he came in the game. Obviously, hadn't seen DJ run around. I know that he's gonna go, and obviously our medical staff will do an unbelievable job of getting him ready to play. But with Taisun, I think, just in general, Taisun is proving that he can go in all the situations and manage the game and actually generate some big plays with his legs.
Tony, how have games been for you as a play caller this season compared to in the second half compared to other seasons? Like, obviously you have to stay locked in when you guys are up by 30 points because you're trying to get backups, some experience and things like that. But this year's been a little bit of a different challenge. Has it been a little bit?
They're all difficult. Each game presents its own set of challenges. So even like you said, when you're up by a bunch of points, you're trying to maintain the foot on the gas with the guys and put them in position to continue to make plays while the defense is making adjustments. And then you do have situations where you got backups in there, so you're trying to make sure that you manage the calls based off of what they're prepared to do, because sometimes we get guys that may be on scout team and it's the only time they're going to get to play. So that's a challenge. But this year, the biggest challenge is, okay, what's the adversity? Right? And now I think we're getting to a point, as an offense and as a team, like, okay, it's not if, like, when's it going to happen? Just what is it? And let's go attack it. So that's kind of how it's been this season. Like, okay, here comes the adversity. What is the adversity? Okay, it's your left guard's out. All right, we got to move this guy over here. We got to do this. Okay, this is a call. Boom. So it's just been more in between, the series, trying to just make sure I'm locked in on what the current situation, is amidst the possible changes that just took place.
Yeah, I was just thinking about how, in what's that movie, the Miracle on Ice movie, where at the end the Russian coach doesn't know that maybe he has to pull the goalie, down
Right.
at the end.
Right.
It's a different situation.
It is, and I don't know if I hadn't seen that movie, so I don't know exactly. But hey, I'm sorry, Don. I don't get to watch much TV. Trust me. So the only movies that I get to see are the ones that we see on Friday nights as a team. But yes, it's been good for all of us as coaches too, because I think just from situational football, things have come up this season that we hadn't seen in the last 10 years. So it's really good for us to sharpen our skills, managing those game situations when you got so many things that are going on.
Anybody on Zoom have a question for Coach?
Go ahead. Tony, this is Matt. I'm just going to go back to that 4th and 1 play at the goal line with the jumbo. Just how much have y'all worked on that this year? And I guess how confident were you in that scenario?
We work it every week. We get good work on it on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Those are the days where we focus on some of our goal line packages and short yardage. So I had confidence, expecting it to score. That's why we called it. Coach Sweeney said in that situation, what you want to do? He said, hey, we're going for it, and we all knew that was going to be the lead call in that situation. 1 yard. We got our heavy boys in there. We got biggest running back we got, and we just got to win our one-on-one matchups. And we had a little bit of leakage on the backside. Didn't quite win, on the at the left tackle spot, which created some penetration and some, which actually turned into a wall, and it was hard for Phil to be able. He didn't have enough space to go over the top, and that wall was solid, and he couldn't bust through it.
Was Myles supposed to have any help
right there? What's he want?
Man, he's cutting off that backside, because if you look at it, you know, the way it's structured, you know, all those guys, because they got us outnumbered, you know, to a certain extent. And so what you're hoping is that you can win that block, and then you got enough space for the running back to be able to go find a little soft spot and knock it in.
Thank you, Coach Trevor with CTigers.com. Seems like you've been taking more shots downfield in the last couple games. We got a big PI call against Florida State late. Obviously, they played a Beaux on Saturday night, and you and Taisun got a PI. How much does that open things up, both horizontally and in the run game?
You know, that's just a core, you know, part of our offense. We want to take shots, but there's a lot of things that go into it. You're trying to find the right matchups. You got to have the protection. You want to make sure coverage isn't. You got the right coverage. You're not getting roll coverage in those situations. And then if you do, you got to have an answer. So there's a lot of things that go into it. But when you can stretch them horizontally, then what it does is it allows you to get into some of your quick game stuff, to stay in rhythm, get ahead of the chains. Then also kind of backs up the guys on the perimeter as well. So from a run blocking from a run game standpoint, you don't have loaded boxes, and you also have the ability to stretch them horizontally too with a lot of your perimeter game as well. So it's big when you can, you know, go over the top, have some success, because then now they got to make a decision, and a lot of times, you know, that results in a little bit softer coverage, which allows us to kind of establish a rhythm and really get going.
With Taison's throw to Ross that got the PI, did you think you might catch him off guard there with the pass when you lined Taisun up behind center? You know,
we've with Taisun and DJ on the field, you know, we've had a plan in a package to be able to run or throw. So that was just a situation there where we had already run it a couple times and maybe had it set up. Maybe could put it in a situation where maybe you can predict the best or the softest coverage or the tightest corner. One of those deals to give them an easy read. If you look at it though, man, that's one of the best routes that I've seen Beaux Collins run. Man, he ran right by his guy, but it was the either or. And I understand why he went to Justin Ross. We'd like to see Justin Ross fight through that and try and go get it. But at the end of the day, we got the PI call.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Tony, it's Anna.
Yes, ma'am.
24/7. Third down in the fourth quarter seemed like it was pretty good. I mean, what do you think the difference was between that and then earlier in the game and maybe some of your other third down struggles?
Yeah, just, you know, earlier in the game, a lot of long yardage situations. You know, there was one right there. I think it might have been the first third and long. We were actually trying to, you know, do a decide play, and we didn't get DJ's attention quick enough to be able to change the play because that screen that we had is better suited for, you know, their drop 8, and we recognized that they weren't dropping 8, and so we kind of lost the play there. Timing was the other one where you know, we needed to be on 7 steps. We were on 5 steps. So the ball was a little bit early, a little bit late, you know, however you want to look at it. But if we're on the right timing, we're going to have a better window, you know. So it's a combination of just little things that we got to continue to work on. But those are the things too that it's hard to simulate in practice. So for us, definitely going forward, a point of emphasis is just improve. Told the guys after the game we got to improve on third down. Because again, we're going to get into you know, games, these next couple of games where the margin for error is not going to be very big, and the key is going to be, you know, staying on the field, scoring points in the red zone, and staying on the field on third down.
All right, well, that'll have to wrap it up. We have James Skowski ready next, so thank you, Coach.
All righty.
Thanks.
I appreciate y'all.